Hello, I'm Dr. Jeanette Kavanagh, and I want to talk to you today about using emotional freedom techniques to overcome cravings. We're going to talk about a craving for one of the most ubiquitous, one of the most generalised cravings in our society, the craving for alcohol. And it may be that you just overdrink or drink too much some of the time, or maybe you are what we call a binge drinker. Maybe you just want to give up drinking entirely. That's all up to you. It's outside the scope of this little video. What I want to show you is a way to break free from that craving. And you know from the introductory video, but we're going to go through it again, that there are only 5 steps to emotional freedom techniques. It's a beautifully simple, very cathartic, very powerful technique. It's my go-to technique for all of the issues I deal with, or most of them anyway, with clients. Yes, we use cognitive behaviour therapy and hypnosis and other modalities, but I love emotional freedom techniques because it is so harm-free, and it's so powerful and so easy for you to realise how well it's worked. So let's start. First step in emotional freedom techniques is name your problem. And your problem at the moment is that you have a craving for alcohol. Maybe you don't put it like that, but you just find that you get home from work and the first thing you reach for is the fridge and a beer in the fridge or a wine or whatever. And you find after you've had the first couple of mouthfuls that's it for the evening. You're on a roll, so to speak, and you don't just have one glass of wine with your meal, which is quite a civilised thing to do. You end up maybe having a whole bottle or even more. And you don't like that. You'd rather be more in control of it. So your problem is, let's put it like that you have a craving, you have a desire, a really strong urge to have that drink, and you can't seem to control it. So that's how you've stabled it. And how strong is that urge? Measure that again from 0 to 10, and most of you, if you're going to tap along with me on a craving for alcohol, I can put it up there at an 8 or a 10. Most of you don't just have a mild little problem. You have a very strong, very present, almost a compulsion. You just have to have that drink, and that's up there at an 8 or a 10. So that's the second step, is you measure how strong and how disturbed your life is, how disturbed your peace is by that particular issue. And the third step is very simple, and you may know this already. It's just called the setup. And the setup is where you tap on this part of your hand, the soft part of your hand between, just at the end of your little finger and the beginning of where your wrist meets the rest of your arm. And I tap sometimes with these 2 fingers, almost like a gun, or you can tap just like this with 3 fingers or 4 on the side. And while you're doing that, while you're continuously tapping, you're making what we call the setup phrase. Even though I have a really strong craving to drink alcohol, I truly love and accept myself. Or, as in the other videos, as I said, you can say, even though I have a really strong craving for alcohol that I just don't seem at the moment to be able to control, I'm working towards accepting and loving myself. So some people just can't quite do the I love and accept myself, or I deeply and completely accept myself, because they don't. They have a problem, and the problem is with them all the time. They're thinking about it. Excuse the little birds chirping in the background. I'm up here in New South Wales overlooking the beautiful Lake Pambula, and it's a gorgeous, just beginning of a beautiful summer's evening. Well, it's very sunny. Let's go. You've done the setup, you do that 3 times, and you start with even though I'm human and I have a problem, is basically what we're saying. Even though I have a really strong urge to drink alcohol and I can't seem to control it, I truly love and accept myself. So for the 3rd and last time, even though I have a really strong urge, a craving for alcohol, and I seem to drink every day, I truly love and accept myself. So that's step 3. Step 4 is just the round of tapping, which you may already know by now. And on my website, you'll see the chart, see photos of me with various tapping points. first tapping point is just at the top of the head. It's not right on the crown, it's at the back of the head. Almost where it, if you held your hand like that, where you'd cup the back of your head. So with all of your fingers just tapping, and Gary Craig suggests that all we need to do is to say the reminder phrase, my craving for alcohol. That's all you need to say. And then the second tapping point is just here, where if you go up the side of your nose, it's where your fingers meet your eyebrows. It's just on top there. And I usually tap on both sides, and I use 2 fingertips. Not if you've got long nails, which I don't have particularly long nails, it's best to tap with the pads of your fingertips. My craving for alcohol. The third tapping point is here, just on the side of your eye, so you feel your eyeball, and just go out to the bone socket, and just with one finger tap. Tap lightly, but so that you can feel it, not so that you give yourself a bruise, but not so lightly that you can barely feel it. So my craving for alcohol, my compulsion to drink alcohol, the fact that I can't seem to spend an evening without drinking alcohol, however you want to express it, just do that. And then underneath, the same on the bone, and I usually press first and then tap with 1 or 2 fingers, it doesn't matter which. My craving for alcohol, my absolute consumption, my dreadful over-consumption of alcohol in the evenings, my compulsion to drink alcohol. The next point is just under your nose, on the top of your lip. My craving for alcohol, my consumption of alcohol, it's out of my control, or seems to be out of my control. My compulsion to drink. And then we call this the chin point, but it's not actually just on the chin, it's on that little fold underneath your lip. My craving for alcohol, my compulsion to drink alcohol. The collarbone spot is very easily found if you just run your finger down your throat. You go to that little U shape in your bone here and go down 1 inch or 2.5 centimetres there, and then go over 1 inch both sides. So I usually tap on both sides of this particular, it's called the collarbone. It's not, here's the collarbone, it's not actually on the collarbone, it's down a little bit from it on that soft part of your upper body. My craving for alcohol, my compulsion to drink alcohol, my overconsumption of alcohol. And then the last tapping point, you're actually using your hand almost like a little bat on the side of your body. So you're just tapping here on the side. My craving for alcohol, my consumption of alcohol. I'm just looking at a little kangaroo on the side here. Sorry to be distracted. My craving for alcohol. And then at the end of the round of tapping, I suggest to people that they just hold their hands up on their lap and palms upwards. Take a deep breath, hold your breath, breathe out. And the 5th step is just to measure. And if you started up there at an 8 or a 10, when you go back into that feeling of getting home from work, you're just about to start your evening, feeling that tension mounting, that sense I must have a drink. When you go back into all of that and feel it as much as you can, measure it now. And I think with most of you, you'll find that if it started at 8, it's at least a 7.5. It's gone down a little bit. For some of you, you may be quite surprised because you'll find that it's down at a 4. The idea is, wherever it is, even if it goes up a bit, that's fine. It's just that you've brought this problem back into your life and you're really concentrating on it, and it does sometimes happen that makes the problem more present and more part of your life, and you're facing it perhaps sometimes for the first time. No matter where you start, you keep tapping until you get down to 0.